Hello everyone! So lately I've been drawing and sketching like a ton more than normal. If you've been around here for a while, you will probably have heard me say that I normally never sketch. When I draw, I am drawing a painting that I fully intend on seeing through and finishing. Definitely not a big sketcher. But lately I've been trying to fill up this sketchbook and I've been doing a ton of drawing and sketching, and so last couple of days ago, I actually decided to travel with some supplies, and I thought it might be interesting to show you all what I decided to travel with. So the first thing that I obviously took was the sketchbook that I was planning on using, which this one is the Travelog 8x8 inches, I'm pretty sure. It's the square one. I'm pretty sure they only make a square one in one size. I'm still not entirely sure how I feel about this sketchbook. The paper is okay. I do wish it was a bit thicker, but overall, a pretty good, decent sketchbook. I've done a lot of different mediums in here, like this one's acrylic paint, but as you can see, the page does warp quite a lot in the center, not something that normally really happens too much with normal watercolor paper. I forget the watercolor paper specs of this particular paper, the paper specs of it, but I'm pretty sure, and it definitely does not feel like it is as thick as your standard watercolor paper. This one's more of a mixed media paper, which for sketching is not bad. Like you can see, I've done watercolor, these were acrylic wash, lots of different things, and it holds up decently well. Like I said, just kind of wish it was a bit thicker, but overall I'm pretty happy with this book. So yeah, that is the sketchbook that I took, which is the less exciting part of this, because mainly I'm sure you want to see the materials. Now, this is just a tiny little IKEA pencil case. I'm not sure if they even still make this anymore, which even though I did not end up using most of what was in here, just, you know, if I'd been away longer and, you know, wasn't visiting family and whatever, probably would have used a lot more of what is in here. But as far as like space constraints go, even though I didn't use most of this stuff, I figured, you know, having what I packed condensed down into this fairly tiny and compact pencil case was pretty good. Also just wanted to mention that obviously this package of supplies might be vastly different if I was depending on how much I was actually traveling. For this particular set, I knew that I didn't want to be using any like paint or color, so that might be something I would normally take. Basically just doing any sort of drawing that I wouldn't normally want to film, because I obviously did not take my camera and I was not planning on filming. It was basically just kind of working on things that I could then eventually film. So this was all like drawing, pencil, inking related, and not so much the finished product. Like someone that would possibly be traveling for lengthy periods of time, I want to take like a travel watercolor set or something, like I would definitely consider that normally. Basically, these are the supplies to help me work on drawings that I would not need or normally film, but then possibly finish them on film. So no color or any of that kind of stuff, definitely more of the drawing and sketching area of things. So let's just go in here and I'll show you what I packed. I guess we'll start with these things since they're the less normal things. Erasers. These I just grabbed from my normal, like, most used drawing section. It's the kneaded eraser that I'm currently using, as well as my Moo eraser, which I'm obsessed with. You've probably heard me talk about this a lot. As you can see, this one is well loved because normally, there's a newer one over here on my desk. Normally they look like this, so as you can see, a very well-loved eraser. Definitely one of my top favorites as far as erasers and just general art supplies go. The kneaded eraser, just standard. I'm not even sure what brand it may or may not be. This is another, I guess we'll grab this too, because this is another random, more tool type thing. I always just normally have this 6-inch ruler in that pencil case. I don't normally actually use this pencil case for traveling or sketching. It was kind of a one-off thing, but this pencil case does normally have this ruler for what I normally use it for. And I also decided to pack this X-Acto craft knife just because I like sharpening my pencils the ye old-fashioned way with a knife. And this, I was going to take a pencil sharpener and it would not fit in this, and I figured I probably wasn't going to use it anyway because I don't really like using pencil sharpeners on my sketching pencils. I like them to be crazy, crazy sharp, which you will see when I pull them out. So I took a knife instead, and I did have Kleenex in my bag as well, just to catch any of the lead dust and pencil shavings and stuff. But obviously, a knife is very easy to slip into a thin pencil case. Speaking of the pencils, if I can grab them here, I did take two just because, again, they were my most used ones sitting on my desk, and as you can see, they are extraordinarily sharp. When I did take this, I actually wrapped the kneaded eraser around the tips to protect them, which it did work. They did not break, but I did take two just in case one of them did break or I had any issues with that. I normally have two like pre-sharpened anyway, just if I'm mid-drawing, I don't want to like have to take a break and sharpen the pencil that I'm using down to a fine point again, because sometimes it can take a while. So normally I have two, and these ones are my current ones. They are the Tombow Mono 2H pencils. I normally sketch in 2H. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you'll know that. The Tombow ones, I'm just a really big fan of Tombow products, so I decided to try these out, and yeah, I'm super happy with these. I have a box. I'm not sure. Well, actually, I would say that they are nicer than some 2H pencils I've used. I find that the lead doesn't smudge around as much, which is really nice because you don't want, you know, lead smudging everywhere on your page. So yeah, I find they do smudge less, so I guess these pencils might be a good recommendation, but overall, any 2H pencil I would be pretty happy with using. Dig around. Also in the pencil thing, again, pretty much just grabbed the sketching stuff that is sitting on my desk at all times. I have like a little container that has literally the stuff that I use all of the time. This pencil is what I'm normally using for a mechanical pencil. It is a Graph Gear 1000 by Pentel. It is the 0.3 millimeter one, which is the one that I normally use. I really love these pencils. I have them in a bunch of different sizes, but it's normally the 0.3 that I would use. Just because I'm normally only using mechanical pencils for really precision, like precise details, which is why the 0.3, and this one has 2H lead in it as well. But I also took this one, which is a Tombow Mono pencil. It is also a 0.3 millimeter pencil, but this one is a new one that I've been trying out, so I just decided to take it to kind of test it out. This one has normal HB lead in it, so took this just in case I wanted a pencil lead that was a bit darker, and also just trying it out, testing it. Also a big fan of this one. It feels really nice. It's a bit thicker than the other one, so yeah, only good things to say about this one as well. Also, as I realized, just in the eraser front still, again, I'm sure everyone's like, why on earth would you take so many erasers? But if you've like watched me for a while, you'll know that I find that erasers are equally as important as the pencils and utensils that you draw with. So I have my absolute favorite Tombow Mono Zero, the super thin one. What is this? The 2.3 millimeter fine point one, which is like, all of these are kind of like the pen click ones that you can get refills for. I'm not entirely sure why this one made it into the bag. It is normally on my desk, but I don't normally use this one as much, and this one is the Tombow Mono 01 that is the fine, like the chisel tip one, as you can see. this was kind of unnecessary for me to take because I'm not normally using this. But yeah, that slipped into the bag somehow too, and this one is just a Pentel Elite eraser, which I'm pretty sure I've had since like going to school, so this one's really ancient and I'm not even sure if I have any of the replacements for the nib, but this one does normally end up being on my desk and I normally grab it from time to time, so this one makes more sense of why it made it into the bag. Now these are a bit different, and it's because what I was working on in my sketchbook, basically I was only working on things that I wasn't going to film. That's why all of this stuff is just like pencils and inking things and not so much paint. And something that I was trying out and like doing in the sketchbook was using colored pencils. So I just took these Kohl Erase pencils. In these four are colors that I use more often than the other ones. I do actually have all of the colors. These ones are the ones that I've had longer though, and so I just have enjoyed using them for longer, so they tend to be the ones that I gravitate towards. So I have the Kohl Erase in blue, indigo blue, purple, and scarlet red. So yeah, they are some of my favorite Kohl Erase colors, and didn't use them, but I am glad that I took them because they are super cool to use for sketching and they just look really cool in your sketchbook to have colored sketches. And now on to the inks. My absolute must-have, the Pentel brush pen. I'm sure you guys have probably heard about this. It is a very, very well-known pen, and for good reason. It is absolutely amazing. Absolutely nothing compares with this pen. You can do scribbles with this pen and they will look amazing. Like, it's kind of absurd how great this pen makes things look. So if you don't have one of these already, I would highly recommend you go out and get one because they are awesome. I also decided to take one of my Prismacolor fine liners. This one is a 0.5 millimeter one. Yeah, just in case I wanted something with a thicker line that was a fine liner but a slightly thicker fine liner, because with the next two products they are thinner than this. Yeah, just decided to take that as well. I'm a big fan of the Prismacolor fine line markers. I do have the Copic multi-liners as well. I don't mind either one. Both of them are pretty comparable to me, so yeah, use those a lot. And the 0.5 one, I just clearly that day decided that that was the size that I should take. And the last two items, which are technically the same thing and just in different colors, and they are my new obsession, I would say, they are the Muji 0.25 millimeter pens. Now, the reason that I'm really obsessed with these is because they are ballpoint pens, essentially. So you can scribble with these, which I know sounds like slightly excessive, but obviously when you have a really fine tip, like fine liner, you don't want to like go like scribbling hard on the page because you would just break the nib. But because these ones are actual like ballpoint pens, as you can see, super thin, you can like fully, like, I'm pressing really hard there, that's not good for my finger. You can like fully like go to town and scribble and not worry about the nib just being destroyed. So I'm a big fan of these Muji pens. The only complaint I would have is they really aren't water resistant like lots of ballpoint pens are. So whatever ink is in here is a little fancier than the super cheap ballpoint pen stuff, which makes for a really nice look, just not water resistant, which is another reason why I took the Prismacolor, in case what I was planning on drawing, I was planning on coloring in with watercolor or something, because you definitely don't want to be inking anything with this bad boy and then plan on trying to use watercolor with it after. So yeah, this one is the black one, and this is in the black blue color. So it is a little darker than your standard ballpoint pen, I find, but it definitely is blue. And that is everything. Now I can put all of those supplies away and not have them just sitting in a pencil case waiting for me to film this video. I know this was super chilled out. Normally this would be more of a studio vlog, but it did have like a very specific purpose, so hopefully you don't mind the super like chilled out art video. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.